ZZZ has basically almost made $100 million. And well, this isn't by coincidence, and I think there's more to it than it just being another HoYoverse game. So let's get right into the video. Why do I think like this? Okay, so to start, let's kind of broaden our perspective from just Zenless Zone Zero to the broader gacha sphere, if you would. It feels like every single developer is trying to go more and more to that AAA kind of type of game, like Genshin trying to be Zelda Breath of the Wild with gacha elements, and then Wuthering Waves tried to copy what Genshin did. However, when they try to do it, they try to lean even more into that AAA kind of market. The obvious thing is the graphics. They try to be way more realistic. So yeah, gacha games are kinda moving to that AAA sphere of kind of game. However, what people are kind of forgetting is that AAA games aren't the only ones that exist. Start looking at maybe indie games that are way more experimental and can be at times way more interesting. Not necessarily trying to have the best graphics and the best technology out there, but instead trying to focus more on the idea of the game itself. While AAA games more tend to look at graphics and performance and all of that, and trying to optimize their games. Meanwhile, indie games try to be more experimental and interesting and just getting the core of the game right. And Zenless Zone Zero does definitely have some AAA aspects, mainly that it also is just made by HoYoverse. However, even within HoYoverse, this is an entirely new team trying to make a new game. So it is definitely trying to be something different. And that's maybe how Zenless Zone Zero has more of those indie game aspects. If you like it or not, the TV system is definitely the biggest factor in this. Even though not everyone liked it, it was definitely very experimental and they tried to get everything right, but it just didn't click for some people. I'm also kind of one of them. I don't like the TV aspect in some places, and then in others I really love it. Also some other aspects that make it more like an indie game, like the smaller scope of the game, instead of like an entire open world kind of giant game. You just have these characters inside of their own bubble and just trying to figure out whatever's going on. And then the final point that I wrote that it also kind of makes it an indie game is the combat itself. This isn't necessarily new combat, but like, it's definitely very different from other games and also very experimental. Although very easy in the beginning, it does get very difficult near the end. So you're probably asking, why do you think that this would make the game more money? Well, it's exactly as I said, it makes it an indie game, which scratches that itch for indie games in the gacha gaming sphere. And with the budget of HoYoverse, it definitely does get that extra polish that it really needs. And just like indie games, the audience may be less general, but the audience that it does have, they are very dedicated. Basically just because there's nothing really like it. So in your opinion, do you think that Zenless Zone Zero is more of a AAA game or an indie game? I honestly would lean more towards indie game, which is why I made this whole video, but yeah, I'll see you later.